Jay here for Stretford, Paddock. Manchester United 3, Lons 1. That's Joe McGrath.
Yes.
This is the live review. You might have even had a little sneak preview of us there a second ago if you were paying attention. Get involved in the comments and the chat. We want to hear from you, lovely people, about a much-needed win, Joseph.
Yeah.
I feel like we needed that.
Well, listen, it was a first half that I think we want to forget. It wasn't brilliant. Some of our key signings have made mistakes. Onana maybe a little too far off his line for the first goal. Mason Mount missing a sitter. Not great, but the second half is really coming into our own. Bagging 3 goals, getting a nice bit of momentum behind us. What is interesting for me in a team point of view is that Ten Hag didn't do his usual sort of switcheroo after like half-time. There wasn't big clumps of subs. There were subs here, there and everywhere. But a lot of players played the full 90 minutes, Jay. You know, a lot of Onana did. Back four pretty much did. I think he switched Anthony and Garnacho out for Sancho and, I forget the other name. But a lot of the team that you will expect to be on the
I think Omari Forsman was the other lad.
Yeah, sorry. A lot of the team that you expect to be on their sheet for the first game against Wolves did 90 minutes or like 70 plus.
Yeah.
It's because it's business end of the season, Jay. I was concerned during the watch long for the first half. Wasn't great, was it?
Let's do this chronologically.
Love it.
First half, not great for Manchester United.
No.
Sloppy. Mason Mount missing a sitter. And listen, anyone can miss a sitter. It was the way he missed it. I feel for the players now in the age of social media because you watch that and you go, that's a clip. That's doing the rounds. That's a meme. He's going to get pelters.
What used to happen pre-season in like the early noughties? Did pre-season just happen and then no one talked about it ever again? Whereas now, those clips will last forever.
They will. And listen,
like,
the saving grace for him is it's in a completely meaningless game. This isn't the Champions League final where he's missed it in the 90th minute to score the winner. It's, it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. It was just the nature of it. It looked quite comical. Garnacho had a very good first half. Great ball from Bruno to him, who also had a very good first half, very good game. Puts it on a plate for Mount. I think he either hits it against his standing foot or it hits his standing foot. Not great. Then not long after that, Delo with a very, very sloppy ball in the sort of middle of the park. Onana, who's not that far off his line, but he's probably too far off his line where he needs to be. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh there, to be honest with you, because I don't even think he was that far off his line. Anyway, 18 yards off his line. He's chipped from the kid, I think it was Satoka, to make it 1-0 to Lons. Summed up United's performance in that first half. Second half, the old cliche, it is a game of 2 halves. Manchester United, much, much improved in the second half. Marcus Rashford getting on the goals. We'd like to see that, don't we? Because as a striker, you want to see players getting goals. And I think for Marcus, in that first pre-season under Ten Hag last year, I think it helped him when he got that goal. Because I think it was like he'd had a bad season. He'd not been scoring. Just to get a goal for United, get back into the swing of things. This pre-season, he's not quite been happening for him. He missed a sitter against Arsenal. I know he scored a penalty in the shootout. But it was one of those where you're like, come on, Marcus, let's get going. He got going today. Goal and an assist. Casemiro gets a goal as well. Bit of a random one.
But
hits his head rather than anything else. But he did well. He got a goal. And then Anthony is another one you want to see him getting into the swing of things, getting goals. It was a much more solid second half. And it gets United in a good position going into the season because the game tomorrow, we expect it to be the Resis. I mean, you keep laughing at the Resis, don't you?
The
reserves.
It feels like it.
Yeah. So it was kind of what you wanted to see in that second half.
100%. And I think, there's what you were saying there is sometimes players need, even if it is a pre-season, they need to do stuff in the games to help them with their confidence. And just hearing that crowd that was there at Old Trafford today for a friendly, just sort of give him Rashford the roar when he scores. And that will help his mindset, his feelings going into this first half of the season. It'll help him a lot and it'll help other players a lot. And I think Ten Hag knows now what his starting 11 is going to be. He's moulding his team and they are looking a little bit sharper, especially in the second half of the game today. So I think Ten Hag has put a lot on some of the United players. He's put a lot on himself as well. Don't forget, Ten Hag is there every single game. We counted them up, 8 pre-season games before even a ball is kicked in the Premier League. So he's really sort of figuring out things that he wants to see tick when it comes to Premier League football. And I believe that we go into the game against Wolves on Monday, so a week tomorrow, in a nice position. A position, do we think is going to be Premier League title contenders? I'm still yet to see. we need to face some tougher opponents, and we need to also face some not so tough opponents to see if we can collect 3 points from them, because that has often been our downfall sometimes, away from home especially. So I overall, I see today as quite a positive 90 minutes of football, even though the first 45 weren't our greatest moment.
No, I think that's fair. There's a link as well in the chat to subscribe to the channel. Hit that subscribe button. We want to get to 800,000 subscribers. We just broke the 700,000 mark. Now on 710,000. Great to see that support. Hit the like button as well. There's over 1,400 people watching, and we haven't even got to 100 likes. That is a disgrace. Let's hit to 500 likes. You want to see certain things in pre-season. For me, I want to see players getting match fit, match sharp. I want to see some of the youngsters being given an opportunity. I want to see everyone staying free of injury, and I want to see the manager sort of getting everyone acclimatised to his style. Now, a lot of these players know his style anyway. They've played a season for him. Some of them don't, and also some of them will have to get used to a new goalkeeper, because that is a big, big shift. You have now got a goalkeeper who is the archetypal sweeper keeper. David De Gea wasn't that guy. Andre Onana is. Obviously, the goal is going to be sort of judged on because he was off his line and all the rest of it. What did you make of Onana's performance overall?
Well, you bring up a good point, and pretty much we're going to be changing the sort of the head and the feet of United with a new striker coming in and a new defender, changing the way United are playing for the first time in 12, 13 years, however long. David De Gea was a keeper for United, and a good keeper at that. We will miss David De Gea in some aspects, but also we have got a new talent that provides new ways of playing football. I think he will keep us on the edge of our seat. We will watch United in a different way. There will be moments of pure anxiety, pure elation, though, when stuff goes on, when stuff is pulled off. I saw a couple of mistakes today that people will try and jump on him for, but the more he plays with these defenders, and the more he plays with a regular back four, the more trust he gets with Old Trafford, the more trust he gets with the fans, the better Onana becomes. And the thing that I've liked is Onana hasn't changed his way at all. He's still pushing up quite high. He's still playing with his feet a lot. He's not tried to soften us into his style of play, has he? No. He could have changed the way. He's very much stuck with his style, and therefore seeing an Onana we've paid for, and hopefully an Onana that will help us develop. You know, I saw a couple of moments in the game where we had the ball at the goalkeeper's feet and we were straight into their half, pushing them straight away, catching them on quicker counters. Yeah. Using the most of Garnacho. Also as well, using the most of Bruno. Yeah. Bruno's picking up the ball.
Bruno looked very good today. Oh, very good. Garnacho looked very good as well. Yeah. Someone in the comments has just said it. Never mind the Onana talk. Oh, sorry, never mind Onana, he did okay. We should be talking about Garnacho, absolute class. That's from Ryback's 986. Great play.
Well, just on that, Onana gets the ball, feeds it out. The defenders get it to Bruno straight away, and then we're on a counter here. And what the Bruno and Garnacho relationship was Bruno could find Garnacho in these spots. Garnacho's got the pace. He ran into a couple of areas, and he created murder, didn't he? And I loved it. I loved it from Garnacho today.
Yeah, you want to see that. For me, I'm an old school United fan. I like to see wingers running at defenders, causing problems, showing that pace, that directness that Garnacho does as well as anyone. He really does. He's a different type of player in it too, even to Anthony a little bit, and to Jadon Sancho. There's a bit more trickery to Jadon Sancho. Anthony, I think the sort of he's always just solely about getting on that left foot. I don't know, Garnacho is a lot about that, just getting onto his right foot to get his shot off. But also with Garnacho, there's a lot of directness there, and I just feel like that pace and directness, it only benefits Manchester United having that. The only debate going on with Garnacho is whether he's more of an impact player you bring off the bench or you start him. Certainly didn't do his cause any harm today by starting and being very, very effective. Certainly that first half was our best player, or one of our best players, him alongside Bruno. Just on the Onana thing you mentioned there about how he's playing the way he plays, he's got a reputation for that. I think it was in Cameroon where he more or less, I think he quit the World Cup or something because the manager said, I want you to play.
Retired from international
football. Said, I want you to play as more of an orthodox goalkeeper. And he said, nah, that's not what I'm about. Even if that cost me playing for my country, I'm playing this way or I'm not playing at all. And then he quit the national team.
He is, He is officially retired from international football.
I mean, at 24, whatever he is, 26 years old.
Come out of retirement, I guess, when the Cameroon might change their ways. But he's very much, this is who I am. You deal with me. And you got to respect it.
Someone asking the question here, Declan Laird says, with Garnacho playing really well, Rashford scored, and the boss favourite Anthony getting his goal, where does Rasmus fit in, lads? It's a good point now, because there you've got the front three, all either scoring or having a good game or both. Rasmus Højlund comes in. Do you see a scenario where Rasmus Højlund comes in and doesn't start every game? And when I say every game, I mean some of the important games. You think the manager might go, I'm only going to use you for, rotation?
I think there's certain stages. I think there's certain stages there will be an embedding period, which Ten Hag loves. He loves slowly bringing players into his style of play. Maybe he gets half an hour here, there, and everywhere. But I do believe that Garnacho will be used more of as a coming off the bench to finish games off. That's where we've seen. So I see Rashford pull out and then Højlund down the middle. But I do believe maybe by the end of the season, when Garnacho really comes into his own, I think he'll be brilliant this year. It causes Ten Hag a big headache.
We need that though, don't we?
A good headache.
I hate to keep bringing them up, but they are unfortunately the benchmark at the minute. City have headaches all over the gaff.
Yeah,
they have players that, is it Grealish or Foden? Is it Bernardo Silva or Gundogan? Is it
Mahrez or I think it was?
But the last season it was. We love it. Rashford starts every game, Bruno starts every game, Casemiro starts every game.
Or something, but
it's obviously different. Got some quotes from Erik ten Hag. He's been getting drowned in the Manchester weather. It's absolutely pouring it down. They've had to go and get him a brolly. Speaking about Rasmus Højlund, he said he's a real front man, very direct through the goal, very good presser, physical presence in the balance of this squad. We needed that. So he also says as well, very direct to the goal and physical presence. Sorry, I said that. Alongside Rashford, another player who is direct and score a goal. He wants to score goals. He has such huge potential. Good point, that, because this is a player who is very young. Yep. He's 20 years old.
Yep.
We've seen it as well. Some of the best strikers in the Premier League era didn't get going until the early 20s, mid-20s. Harry Kane at 20 years old, I think he was on loan at Millwall or somewhere. Or he wasn't. I think it wasn't until he's 23, 24 years old that he started doing it. The obvious one is Jamie Vardy.
Of course.
I think he was working on a building site when he was 20. He was nowhere near the levels of being a top-level striker. Even players like Ian Wright, Alan Shearer, who burst onto the scene and then had a couple of seasons where he wasn't as prolific, got really going when he was 22, 23. Strikers can sometimes take a while, can't they? I know there's exceptions to the rule, Haaland and Michael Owen and younger strikers who obviously shine straight away. But we made this point earlier. It might take Højlund a little while to get going. And we just have to be a little bit patient with him. But there's a potentially top striker there.
Yeah, and it's a sort of a Ten Hag vision board where you've got to be quite hopeful as United fans to think of this season as another stepping stone towards a Premier League title. I don't know if it's going to be achieved this year. It's going to be very, very difficult. But Ten Hag is the man who wants to bring the Premier League back to United. And it is a plan that I think is... And Ten Hag doesn't get ahead of himself. I think he understands it maybe a couple of seasons down the line. But once you bring in a striker that you know and you really embed them into your team and you nurture them, you make sure that you sort of shield them a little bit from the press, who will be on him. Fans will be on him. 70 million for this guy. Rip off Haaland, stuff like that. He's not rip off Haaland. He's got nothing to do with Haaland. He's a Højlund and he's got to be the player he wants to be. And I think Ten Hag, down the line, we're seeing little movements. It's like a chess player. You don't move really. When you move your piece, you already know 4 or 5 pieces down the line how things are going to play out. And I think that maybe is Ten Hag's way of bringing the Premier League back to United. He might not think it's this year, but he thinks if he starts doing this, if he starts moving that there, moving this there, then down the line, it's checkmate and he can bring the Premier League to Old Trafford.
Great point. A few people comment on Jadon Sancho. He seems to be getting a little bit of criticism for his performance today. Aaron says Sancho is poor and he's too inconsistent.
Yeah, it's true.
He's not the only one who's commented. Andy Mullen says Sancho needs to be sold. I feel like we're having this conversation about Jadon Sancho all the time, and it seems like there's a divide in the fan base over Jadon Sancho. Some people think he's good enough.
Yeah.
Others don't. And I think there's probably, and I might be wrong here, this isn't scientific, there's probably more doubters than there are supporters.
I think it's the inconsistencies which is upsetting fans, and it gets me a bit like, oh, come on. It's the moments of glory, the moments of greatness we see from the player, but then he's drowned out by him not showing up, him looking a bit unasked about playing for United, him not giving his all. And that is the thing for me that makes me worried about him and him being a United player, because he is great for certain points of the game, but a lot of the time I'm wondering, where is he? Yeah. I'm wondering, does he actually want to play for us? Where's his talent gone? Like, you can see him getting closed down a lot. You can see him not really producing the passes that really can make the attack click. And I think that is the one thing that worries me. And I'm kind of leading on the side of fans who are a bit annoyed by him at a minute.
It's his third season now. He's going into his third season, obviously not started yet. He has to turn up this season.
Yeah, 100%.
He has to. First season, he got a bit of a pass because it was a horror show under Ralph Rangnick. I think everyone was terrible, barring maybe Ronaldo and David De Gea. Second season, there was glimpses, did okay. Obviously had a 3-month or 2-month break, whatever it was. There was reports that he was maybe struggling a little bit. Yeah. Not just physically, but mentally. So I hope we always understand that and try and be patient with players. And, if someone breaks a leg, we don't criticise them. And it should be the same if someone's got mental health issues. Mental health is as important as physical health, if not more so. So I get all that. This season, though, I feel like he has to step up. We have to see that player we saw at Dortmund, because we haven't seen it yet. Jerome T. Green says, I don't get the Mount hate, Jay. I don't know about hate. I think it's reasonable to be honest about your assessment of him so far. I think he's done all right. I think I wanted to see a little bit more from him pre-season. It is pre-season, though. Yeah, I'm not concerned.
You get the best out of Mount, I think, when the games start coming thick and fast. I think we'll see the best out of him.
I think that will happen. I'm going to wrap up there. We're going to do a short one. I don't think we need to go too much into it. We're going to hear from Stephen Howson later on as well, so you're going to have his review. Also, we're going to preview the bit of the Bilbao game. In fact, we'll hang on I think we're going to have some Andre Onana quotes coming very shortly. So when we get those quotes, we'll give you them as well. See what he has to say, because obviously it's a big game for him. His first game as a Manchester United player at Old Trafford. I've already seen, I think ESPN, who just hate United, don't they? Saying that they've done a little bit of a meme with the pictures of him getting lobbed from halfway on his Old Trafford debut. I think there's mitigating circumstances there. I think that. Obviously, it's not great getting lobbed from that range, but obviously, Diogo Dalot's got to do a little bit better than just giving away the ball like the way he did, sloppily. And also, it's not like Onana was massively out of his area. I just think he's a little bit unfortunate. But there's some stats here that I'm going to get into. This is via your pal, Statman Dave. He says Onana's game by numbers. What, sorry?
You just text me as well.
Oh, did he? These stats?
No, asking for a drink.
Oh, right, okay. I see, I was right to say he's your pal. There you go, proof. Onana's game by numbers versus Lens, 87% pass accuracy, 62 touches, 45 passes completed, 8 out of 14 long passes completed, 6 saves, 1 clearance outside the box. He's also added this. He says, chipped, ? No bother. Lots of smiling, sort of starry-eyed emojis there. So, yes, he got chipped from long distance, but on the whole, not a bad performance. We've seen him here on our screens, smiling. He's got a big grin on his face. He's obviously got his first win as Manchester United player. His first win as a Manchester United player, innit? So it's not too shabby, is it? I mean, obviously, the like you said earlier, getting caught out, being on the edge of his area, we need to get used to that. He's not going to change the way he plays, is he?
No. And the defenders in front of him need to be more comfortable on the ball and not make slip-ups and mistakes, because that was unfortunately what led to it. He didn't get caught out because Lens were on the counter and saw him off the line. He got caught out because our defenders mucked up, and our defenders ballsed up so much that they gave Lens a great opportunity to score, and that's what they did. They capitalised on it. So our defenders need to sharpen up, and you can't be playing for United if you're going to give the ball away. I think a recipe for disaster, and I mean this, is Maguire and Onana on the same pitch.
Okay.
I think just because.
Well, we saw them having a little bit of a.
And I don't mean
went mad at him,
that.
didn't he? No.
I mean because of sometimes Maguire's sloppiness, sometimes Maguire's pace, sometimes Maguire's way of defending. I just think it doesn't suit the Onana style. You need someone who's a bit more confident on the ball, who can dictate play, who can. All right, if they slip up a little bit, they can get back in there and they can re-win the ball, because some of the mistakes will come from the defenders and the goalkeeper really not clicking.
Fair play. Just on Onana, I'll just give you a quick quote from him before we wrap up. I'm the big man at the back, so I'll take all the critics and all the pressure for me. Love that.
Love it.
And a grin on his face after the game. And he's, we'd have lost if he had a grin. I'd be concerned. But he's obviously shrugged that off. He'll take the criticism. He won't change the way he plays. We are going to have a new style of goalkeeping, a new way of playing out from the back, and it's the one the manager wants. So I, for one, am all for it. Go and check out Joe McGrath alongside our very own Ethan James and Joe Smith for the Sloppy Joes podcast. You know where to find me as well, Jay Motte. If you're not doing as well, make sure you are subscribing to Stretford Paddock. Hit that subscribe button. This has been the review. Manchester United beating Lons 3-1. We'll be back tomorrow with a watch-along for the Bilbao game. Myself, Joe McGrath, and we'll also have Sam McCabe from the Real Red Sox. So make sure you are subscribing to the channel so you don't miss out on that. But this has been the review. Thanks for watching.